104.9 Coyote Country. You're on the Texas 12-pack, Texas Brewed Country Music. I'm Robert Miguel here with you. With me on the phone, checking in from, where are you calling in from, Jesse?
Man, I'm right outside of Houston, Texas, in a little town called Magnolia. How are y'all?
I am great. We got Jesse Raub Jr. on the phone, sir, the #1 country artist right here, right now. Very cool to talk to you, man.
Man, thank y'all for talking to me, and we're excited to be #1. I just appreciate all y'all's support, man. Everybody across Texas has totally supported our song and stayed with us for like 27 or 28 weeks. So my hat's off to y'all. Thank y'all for your support.
Let's get into it. For those who don't know who you are, where are you from? How long have you been doing this?
Man, I was born in Houston, Texas, and I reside in Magnolia, Texas, about maybe 30 or 40 miles outside of Houston. And, man, I've been playing music for about 20 years now. Man, we've just been out here tearing the roads up, man. I've done 6 tours across Texas, 6,000 miles on 5 of them, and 8,000 miles on the last one, all the way into Colorado, Amarillo, in Colorado. We actually do a little bit of television up there. Man, it's just building relationships. You know, we've got friends in every different town now, from going there and actually being told no so many times. And finally they let you come in there and play your guitar and sing them a song, and they go, oh, man, not bad. That was actually pretty good. So, man, if we can just get our chance to actually be heard, I think, you know, our fans are actually showing that they want to hear our music.
That's some great advice for a struggling musician. Now, Jesse, when did you or when will you know that you've actually made it in this business that you're working so hard to get in on?
I never really look at it as making it. Okay. I made it in my heart a long time ago. You know, I know a lot of people in the business now. I'm not going to sit here and name drop, but, you know, most of these guys that are getting #1 hits, I know them personally. Man, I feel like I made it, if that's even something, a long time ago. You know, basically, when you start getting traction, people just start recognizing who you are. We still go to venues where people don't know who we are. Uh-huh. And when you start playing songs that were actually hits, or you released to Texas radio, they'll come to the stage and they'll point and go, hey, we didn't know you wrote that.
Very cool.
Didn't know you sang that song.
Well, I tell you what, man, speaking of the Texas music scene, the Red Dirt thing, what do you, in your observation, what are the major differences between that Nashville music machine versus our Texas country Red Dirt scene?
Man, I think there's a lot of guys. Actually, I think what sets it apart, obviously, is the artist and, you know, the DJs. The guys that aren't scared to go out on a limb and take a chance. You know, the Sam Phillips of Sun Records of today's day and age. There's still a few guys out there that aren't ran by, you know, national radio. There are still mom and pop stations out there that can play what they want to play, and they do. And if it wasn't for those guys out there doing that, taking a chance on guys like me, when you start putting all that together, along with the streams now, because just people listening to the radio isn't the only place that people are discovering you nowadays.
Right, sure.
People discover you in, you know, 13, 16 different countries by pushing the button on their computer and listening to your song on Spotify. You know, so the music business is changing, not only for us, but for y'all, for the fans. So, man, we got to kind of stay up with the times or you get left behind. If you can't keep up, you definitely get left behind.
Amen. We are talking to Jesse Raub Jr. He's got the #1 track in Texas right now with his song Mistakes. Now, Jesse, tell me this. What are your musical influences? How did you hone and craft your sound that you're putting out there on the records?
Man, I would definitely have to say Haggard was my biggest influence.
All right.
I would always, you know, drive back and forth to school. I had a 77 Chevrolet, and man, when I started buying CDs and listening to those, you know, Haggard songs, man, I wanted to learn that stuff. Dwight Yoakam, Gene Watson, you know, Conway, stuff like that, man, was probably my biggest influences were those people. And the people that, you know, my dad and my aunts and uncles listened to, you know, when we would go to, you know, to a family reunion or something, we would be sitting around listening to those songs. And, man, you either love them and want to know who they are, or you know, you go elsewhere. But, man, I believe in good music. It's if music's good, it's good. It doesn't really matter to me where it was made or who made it or, how popular they are or how many records they're selling or how many butts they put in seats at a venue. Good music is good music, and as long as people can find your music, man, you're going to be able to go out there and they'll hear, I think they will hear your influences in your music.
Well, that is a great list of influences you cited right there. So that's just it. It's no surprise that you're just kicking all kinds of ass on radio. So let's talk about this. As far as your live show goes, how did you assemble your band, the guys that run with you, that record with you? How is that behind the scenes? Where did you get your touring band?
Man, that's probably the hardest part of the music business that I would say, in my opinion. My band is called the Known Associates, and it's an old outlaw term. And basically, there's been so many of them, and it was such a musical chairs for all of those years because, man, I feel that God puts people in your path for a certain reason, and everybody's journey is different. So at some point, the guitar player that you had, something comes up and they can't play with you anymore. Or they have to, their journey goes a different way, or your drummer or your bass player. I've been through so many of them, but I'm happy to say, man, that I've had my current band for about the past 3 years, and it really makes the journey a lot easier having the same musicians every night because you can sound the same. And you actually get a sound, your sound. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do is to hone your craft to where you have a sound and y'all sound the same every night.
Well, it sounds like you're on the right path. And speaking of the sound, what is your songwriting process? How does do you spearhead that with the band? Do you get co-writers from outside of your camp, or how does that work with your songwriting?
Man, I usually I love to co-write with other people. I used to think that I was going to do it all myself, and I was sadly mistaken. It takes a great team around you, no matter whether it's band-wise, touring-wise, promotion-wise. It takes a great team. So songwriting-wise, it's kind of the same thing, man. You find people that you write good with, that you click with. And sometimes you'll sit in a room for 8 hours and stare at somebody and have nothing. Just have a mediocre song or a song that's actually not good. I've written, a lot of bad songs. I've wrote songs with certain people that we just didn't click, or we just didn't have anything to write about. And then I've sat in rooms with people and we've written songs in 30 minutes.
Wow.
Sometimes I like to talk to whoever I'm writing with. Sometimes we'll talk for an hour or maybe even 2 hours at length and get to know each other.
Well, tell me this: how do you meet these people and make these writing partnerships? What is that? Is that an organic process, or is that like your management says, "Hey, you know what? You should write with this guy"?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I don't write with a whole lot of people. Man, I've written on Kyle Park's album, "Ain't No Woman of Mine." Kyle and Cody Johnson and myself. I've written on Cody Johnson's albums. Cody and I are actually best friends, and one of my favorite people in the world, man, and I feel like him and I really have something special when it comes to songwriting. So basically, man, we'll sit down and talk, and sometimes it's just a catch. It's just a phrase or a hook. I wrote Dancer Home with Cody, and that was us basically saying, man, how do you ask a woman to go home with you without crossing the line as a songwriter and it being X-rated or something? It was one of them things of, man, I'm not going to ask you to go home, but what if I ask her to, if I can dance her home? So it was just kind of a clever way of getting around that. But, man, Joel Shoemake up in Nashville, Trent Willman, those are things that actually Cody wanted me to go up there and write with those guys. He had written with those guys before, and he said, man, I think you would write great with this guy. Our last single, She'll Put the Hurt on You, that song went #1 for us, and it was a song that I wrote with Joel Shoemake. And, man, it was just one of them deals where we were sitting there talking for probably an hour, and Joel said, man, what do you want to write about? And I said, let's write about women. I think they rule the world, Joel. And he said, man, I do too. He said, I had a girlfriend one time, and she left and never even said goodbye. And I said, man, that would be a great song, but I think it's already been written. And he said, man, she put the hurt on me. I said, there's the song.
Wow.
And so, man, sometimes you stumble onto songs. I would say to guys who are out there songwriting, man, don't be scared to rewrite, because we all write bad songs. Mm-hmm. If we knew the equation to write #1 hits, obviously every song would be a number one hit, but it's not. It's not that easy. You've got to write a lot of bad songs to write a good song.
Well, congratulations on all your success. You do have the number one song in Texas right now, a song called Mistakes. We're talking to Jesse Raub Jr. This is 104.9 Coyote Country. We're in the Texas 12-pack, celebrating all your success. Thank you so much for checking in. Where can we find you online, your social media, all that good stuff?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, JesseRaubJr.com. That's Jesse with an E, RAUBJR.com. We've got a brand new website that we just launched. They could go on there and watch some of our videos. It's got some links to iTunes and Spotify, stuff like that, where they can go listen to our songs. They can buy our songs. And, man, I just want to say again, thank y'all for supporting our brand of country music. Appreciate you spinning our songs. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Jesse. We do appreciate you calling in today. And you know what? I hope to see you out here in the Southwest Texas area, Hill Country, very soon, all right?
Me too. Thank you so much.